Welcome, everyone, to an all-new episode of the Comic Multiverse, where the worlds of nerd meet. As always, I'm your host, Joel, and joining me is Matt. How you doing, Matt?
I'm I'm okay. I'm a bit tired from last week, but I'm starting to recuperate.
It's a lazy Sunday all around. That's the feeling I've been getting. You'll like this, Matt. I actually took your advice after last week's episode, or I guess last time you were on, about that Danny McBride show, Vice Principal, so I've actually started watching that.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's pretty funny, and at the same time too, it's also like very much like other Danny McBride stuff I've watched. It really hits me that Danny McBride has kind of been, perfecting and laser focusing this one character he seems to play across several shows.
Yeah, he plays. Yeah, it's like this kind of dickhead character. Sort of. He's a real asshole.
Yeah, this like detestable and yet so pathetic you feel bad for him. Like he played it in Eastbound and Down, he played it in the Foot Fist Way, he's playing it here and now too.
Yeah, I actually just finished the series. I think at the start of last week, and it ends on a really dark turn.
Does it? Apparently, there's only supposed to be 2 seasons, and then they're done. Because, isn't he like producing it too, Danny McBride? I think he is.
I think so. Yeah, they actually shot both seasons back to back. So
Oh,
I
wow.
don't know when the second season starts, but I hope it starts soon because I won't spoil it for you. But it ends on like a cliffhanger, and it's actually quite dark for the show.
Hell, it's been dark nonstop. I mean, right when a house gets burnt down, it's pretty dark.
Oh, it gets darker.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's like, I hate to use the word cringe comedy because I think that word cringe has been completely overused to the point on the internet now where it doesn't mean anything. Uncomfortable comedy is what I would call it.
Yep, yep.
Like you feel bad watching it, but you laugh at it at the same time. It is not a feel-good comedy, for sure. It's feel-bad comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, is he good at that, and Goggins is good at it, too.
Oh, he's amazing in that.
They play a great duo on that show, Vice Principal. And in fact, if you like our talk about TV, we're probably going to be talking about more TV because I don't know if you noticed, Matt, or the people out there listening noticed, but sweet fuck all happened today at Sunday as we record this.
Yeah, there's been like no news for the last week.
Yep, there's been nothing going on. I mean, hopefully with New York Comic Con coming up soon, hopefully some good news will come out of that we can talk about.
Well, with that, there's been rumors that DC are going to announce sort of like phase two of DC Rebirth titles. So
That's
hopefully there's some of that.
That's the rumor, and I don't want to jinx anything, but strings are being pulled right now for me to hopefully get in on that.
Awesome.
I will tell you all about it, but here's the funny thing. I actually knew people who went to the original DC Rebirth, like, stream and announcement when it happened, and they were tweeting about it, and they were all happy, where it's like, yeah, we're getting the hot news, like 2 seconds before the official press releases were coming out on social media.
Yeah, and it was live streamed as well.
It was, so, like, they're out there, they had to get up early, had to dress up. I'm sitting here in my underwear, drinking my morning tea, watching it, and then because they were all at the events, they couldn't make videos about it. I could, so I'm just like, well, geez, I should just stay at home every time when there's a big announcement.
That's what I did. That's like I went to a con recently as well. Not last weekend, the weekend before that, and they had like exclusive stuff for us because I went as media, and they had some exclusive stuff. I'm really pissed though because some of my vision and audio got fucked up somehow. I think because it was too noisy in the place and everything, so I couldn't use it. So I only had to use a little bit of it, and it was pretty cool though. It was really cool.
Was that the OzCon thing you were all excited about?
Yeah. I got we got some exclusive stuff from Rogue One, so like a big reveal of like the Death Troopers and everything, and
Sweet.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
We're going to be talking about more Star Wars later in the show, too, so everyone get excited for that as well.
Yeah.
What else was I going to say there? Oh, my mind's all over the damn place today. Was that it for you for this week?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I caught up on some Vice Principals, got to see that. So, oh man, I had a great segue I wanted to... Oh yeah, con footage and cameras and stuff. I actually rented myself a brand new JVC, because of course I'm taking the New York trip in the beginning of October. I wanted to get some good video, I wanted to get some good 1080p stuff. I don't want to let on how I MacGyver my own videos, how I make that shit work. So I'm like, look, I'll actually rent a camera, and I had a voucher left over. I plug it in, it comes with 3 batteries, and I'm like, oh great, 3 batteries, this is so cool. I'll be able to charge them all up, and I'll be able to use them throughout the thing. Not a single one of the batteries works.
Oh yeah, that's usually like when I borrow equipment from my college, I'll like get it and like, oh yeah, it's all good, and then I'll get home and like all the batteries are dead, or like some of them don't work, or they
Hmm.
need charging or something, and like it completely stuffs everything up.
Yep, the camera works fine so long as it's plugged in. So I can film some beautiful stuff so long as there's an outlet nearby me. I should be fine. I'll just be telling people like, "Can you move, sir? Can you move, sir? I just need to plug into this outlet. Can you move, sir?" I'll be that guy.
uh,
So I need to go back to the rental place tomorrow, and I need to complain. And in fact, I'll be doing some even more stuff on Monday. I got to change my money from Canadian to American, which sucks because the exchange rate is garbage right now.
yeah.
I got to do that. I got to like call my phone company, and I got to get like a roaming package so I can actually make calls in the States and it not ruin me. So I got to do
Hmm.
that. That's what I got to do tomorrow.
Fun.
Yeah, I'm just like, I thought this was supposed to be a fun trip. Remind me never to come to America again.
Don't worry, when I eventually come over there for a con or something, I'm gonna have to do all that as well, and more probably.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah, because you'll have to take a long ass plane trip. For me, it's just, 15-hour bus ride.
Everyone complains about long ass like flights and everything. I love them.
I relish them
I can
as
like
well.
watch movies, catch up on comics and everything, and
Exactly. I have so you'll be happy, Matt. I've only been saying this for like the last 4 years, but I have all of Injustice up on my pad, and when I take that 15-hour bus ride, guess who's going to be reading Injustice finally?
did you know I thought that finished on issue 38? Apparently, there's two more issues.
I heard that after the fact from someone else, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, and
that's what
I
it is.
thought I thought that was like the end because it ended such perfectly, and these last two issues have been kind of like just dragging the story out a little bit. And then there's a new series starting up in October.
Incredibly soon, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's never ending.
Nope. Makes too much money for DC. We can't end it. Nothing's over. Nothing is ever over. Which shit, I guess we'll have to plan for that. I've been doing more streaming now. I guess when Injustice 2 comes out, we'll have to start playing that, you and me.
Yeah, well, I'll wait for reviews and whatnot of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the first one was pretty good, and I mean, the second one looks to just be the same, but more.
Yeah, the same but with armor.
Yeah, the armor thing, I wonder how that system is going to work. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the idea that they're giving me a level of customization over these characters, but even still at the same time, it's like, will the armor make me fight any different? No. Well, then what's the point?
Yeah. So like, why does Superman need armor?
At that point, you're just doing skins, which don't get me wrong, loved the different skin options from the first game. In fact, I got way more skins than I care to admit.
Yeah, well, I own the Ultimate Edition, so I've got like all of them.
Nice. I was really jealous too of the Bane skin because they had like the actual Nightfall version of Bane, and I'm like, damn it, I want that one, but you can only get it through the phone game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they really hit you with all barrels on that one.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's that. I mean, definitely keep your eyes peeled for both the channels for Injustice when that one happens. But yeah, there actually was a little bit of news that happened this week worth talking about, and I guess one of the pieces that broke a little earlier in the week that Matt and I didn't get a chance to talk about, but that is that Jen Walters will be getting a brand new series post Civil War II, and it will simply be entitled Hulk.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, especially considering she's kind of a main player in Civil War 2.
Even though she's been bedridden for the majority of it.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what the series is about. Maybe it's about her recovery or something.
I mean, it's a fitting title, too, because a Hulk, she will be the only Hulk as of the end of Civil War, too. I guess Red Hulk is going to be on USA Avengers, but you can't really count him. But yeah, she will be this universe's one and only Hulk, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and what happened to Amadeus Cho again? How did he get rid of his powers?
Oh, shit, I forgot about Show. No, yeah, he'll still be running around as the Hulk.
Oh, okay, then I thought he was going to get rid of his powers or something.
No, he's going to be on Champions, is what he's going
Oh,
to be.
okay.
He's going to be on that team, and I assume he's going to keep his own book going for a bit. But yeah, he's got his book. But yeah, she'll be the one and only adult Hulk touring around who's not a teen.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and this looks to be a more action-oriented book that they seem to be taking with it, where the last She-Hulk run from Charles Soule, which was criminally underrated, was more of like a legal procedural that just so happened to star She-Hulk.
Yeah, I didn't read it, but I saw like panels and stuff on it. It looked pretty interesting.
It was incredibly interesting, and it's super short. If you ever want to read it, you can.
Oh, nice.
It didn't last very long, which is the tragedy.
Yeah.
It's cool too because Charles Soule, before he became a comic writer, was an actual lawyer, so he was able to pull on that shit.
It's always good when that happens.
And now he's writing Daredevil, so go figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, color me interested for Hulk, and funny too that Marvel had pretty much given away everything they were doing post Civil War too, except for this one.
Yeah, this is like the one that didn't get leaked in that big leak.
And then the
Which is
one,
strange.
yeah. I mean, hey, I like the Hulk. I like the Hulk family of characters. The more Hulk, the better. And moving on from there, we have another piece of news, and that is apparently they talked to the showrunner for Netflix's Jessica Jones, and apparently she let on that season 2 of the show, which won't be premiering until 2017, is already halfway written.
Well, makes sense. They'll have to start filming soon, I imagine. End of the year, start of next year.
That's pretty amazing and kind of hilarious, too. I was reading on The Outhouser, they're like, wow, can you believe it? The show's already half written before they even start working on it. Maybe the creator of Jessica Jones, Brian Michael Bendis, could take some, pointers from this. With his Civil War II book that's going to take until the end of the year to be done.
Yeah, that got postponed again, didn't it?
But it won't be done until the end of 2016. We'll get one new one like every month until the end of 2016.
God damn it.
I know, right? And that means we're in the same situation we were in with Convergence and the same situation we were in with Secret Wars, and that is we're already seeing the post-universe or the post-story books when the main book isn't even done yet.
It really boggles my mind how something like this, how they can let something like that sort of
happen,
just go the way it goes, delays and everything. You'd think it never really used to happen back in the day, when they had events and everything. It happened every now and then, but it's become more of a common thing now. As you said, Convergence, Rebirth, they're still post
Forever Evil was another
pre-Rebirth books. Yeah, Forever Evil. I think Trinity War ran over as well.
I'm sure it did. I wouldn't be shocked if it did.
So, what's the deal?
Well, for Civil War II, they're blaming the artist, and that is the artist on it who, by all accounts, and I would totally agree, is doing the best job on that book because it's the prettiest of pictures. His wife was pregnant, so he had to take time off, to which everyone was joking, where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, is he delivering the baby? You mean he can't draw and help out at home at the same time? He can't carry the baby around while he's also drawing these panels. My thing is where I'm like, okay, so you already paid him to finish the book. Why can't you just get fill-in artists and don't pay him the full amount? Or if you've already paid him the full amount.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll admit my own ignorance here and say I don't understand all that about comic publishing, but yeah, the delays are getting really silly, especially for a story like this where I'm getting more and more frustrated with and more apathetic with as time goes on. The idea that I'm going to have to wait is really silly.
Yeah, especially when a few of the tie-ins sort of spoil stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, another comic that does that made me lose all interest in it, due in fact to lateness. Remember Dark Knight 3? Remember that?
No, I don't.
No, I can't blame you. That's not done. That book's not finished.
When is it scheduled to be finished?
I don't know, and I don't care. Because when it comes back, I'm not reading it anymore. I'm done with it. I don't care.
They're just it'll come out when it's done.
Yeah, I don't care, and no one cares. And you know what? It wouldn't be the first time a Frank Miller book never finished.
It wouldn't be, no.
Which, how sad is that, Frank Miller, a history of books not getting finished?
Yeah, he's just won't bother. I would go make Holy Terror 2 or something.
Then I'll finish it on my time. I'll write and draw it. You'll see. Holy Terror 2, hail to the Trump. You'll see. Oh, no, Frank, no. Don't do it. Now, we started this whole conversation by talking about Jessica Jones. I actually went back and rewatched some Jessica Jones recently to get me all primed and ready for Luke Cage, which happens in only 5 days, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, this coming weekend.
Man, that's going to be freaking awesome. I'm going to get up nice and early. I'm going to have make a nice big fry-up breakfast of champions and watch me some Luke Cage, as I've done with Jessica Jones and Daredevil the last couple seasons.
Awesome. It comes on for me, I think, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, lucky you.
I'll be able to just eat dinner and watch it.
The one time the actual what is it? The actual time difference helped you out in a big way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny. Last night, someone totally scared the shit out of me because they had Netflix up and they were reading out loud, and they're like, "Oh, what's this? Luke Cage starting in 5, 4, 3, 2." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Starting now? What do you mean starting now?" Because if you'll remember, if you watched Orange Is the New Black, they just launched their season 2 like 3 to 4 days before they were supposed to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, dude, they're Netflix. They can do whatever they want. They're not regular TV. They don't play by the rules. They can release Luke Cage now if they want it. It's there. It's done. Imagine if they did that just to fuck with people. It's like, hey, everyone, here's Luke Cage now. Here's all the episodes. And in fact,
Well, like they've actually released it but never told anyone. Then they're like, "What? No one's watching? What the hell?"
just do a stealth release of it. Hey everyone, and here's Defenders too. Yeah, that's right. We're skipping Iron Fist. Look, we're going right to Defenders. Here it is.
Yeah, what, you thought we didn't shoot it? Are you kidding me?
We're Netflix. We can do whatever we want. We are powerful. We're crazy. Actually, speaking of the craziness of Netflix, I was watching that show Adam Ruins Everything on True TV, which is an awesome documentary show for anyone who hasn't seen it. And he was talking about, how messed up the award system is in the United States and how it's all basically confirming everything you've always wondered, and that, it's all rigged and it's all a money game and everything. And, spending a bunch of money helps you out on it. Did you know Netflix, that first year they won, like, a daytime Emmy was because their CEO really, really wanted to win it, and he spent, like, millions and millions of dollars out of his own pocket to get it done?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, which I'm just like, yeah, and now because of that, we take Netflix more seriously as a television medium because, oh, well, they won a daytime Emmy. Where up until that point, Netflix shows never won anything, even when they really should have.
Yeah, yeah, and as you're saying, it costs money to do this, and they needed to do that because if they hadn't have done that, they probably still wouldn't be sort of a competitor for normal daytime TV and everything.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy to think. So, yeah, I mean, that's the Jessica Jones thing. Luke Cage will be here before we know it. What would you like to see the most out of Luke Cage there, Matt?
Well, we've already kind of seen, like, the chain and the bands and the headband
I
and
know,
everything.
right? They gave that away in the trailer, so I'm like, well, shit, now what do I got to see?
I don't know, I'm just really excited to see Mike Colter, like, punch a bunch of people through walls and use car doors of shields and whatnot.
Gangster rap plays in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, Theo Rossi, who I, of course, really loved as Juice on Sons of Anarchy, apparently he's really great in this show, too. He's getting rave reviews.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him.
Saying his is like a career to watch, and I'm like, good for him. I always thought he had some untapped potential as an actor.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued to see, like, what they're going to do with, obviously, because it's related to Daredevil and Jessica Jones and all that, like, what kind of Easter eggs or references and stuff we're going to get.
What connective tissue, yeah.
Yeah.
There's talks that apparently John Bernthal has filmed some more stuff as the Punisher, but we don't know for what show yet.
Ooh.
That'll be interesting.
You know, there's actually a scene in the Luke Cage trailer where, like, there's, like, some gun and it, like, fires and, like, blows up, like, an ambulance, like, makes it, like, veer off the road. I'm thinking, oh, maybe that's Punisher coming after someone.
Interesting. It would be cool to see him show up again, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it would be.
I mean, the obvious cameo is, of course, Jess herself in some form or another.
Yeah, and obviously they're going to make references to Daredevil. I mean, Night Nurse is in there,
Even if, like, Jessica even literally phones in her performance like he's talking to her on the phone or something.
Well, it makes sense. They have a relationship together, so...
Yeah, it would be nice to know that they're still hanging out. I think that would be cool. Moving on from there to some more comic book news. This was another big one that broke kind of last week, but DC and IDW are teaming up to come out with a brand new charity comic to benefit the victims of the Orlando shooting, and it's called Love is Love, and it features a bunch of their more LGBT-focused heroes. Batwoman looks to be in it, Apollo and Midnighter look to be in it, and some IDW characters of which I am not that much familiar with.
It's pretty cool, but it's also pretty weird considering it's come from the company that refused to let Batwoman marry Renee. So yeah,
Yeah. They got a bit of egg on their face on this one. DC, look, love is love, but no one should have a happy marriage, though, because you can't tell good
yeah,
stories with that. Except for Superman, which we're making some of the best stories we've ever done with him by letting him be married.
yeah.
So shit, maybe we should let Batwoman be married. No, you know what their answer should be? No. Batwoman couldn't be married in the new 52. In DC Rebirth, she can totally be married.
Yeah,
It's
Kid Flash came by and like touched her, and because he's got that weird time travel sort of thing, she remembers, and now she's married to Renee.
don't even tease me. No, it wasn't Renee. She was in a
Oh,
relationship with. It was
yeah,
Maggie Sawyer.
yeah. I keep getting them two confused.
Maggie Sawyer, who has now moved back to Metropolis to be part of the Superman family of characters, which is always how I liked her anyway, because that's when I first started reading her and, watching her in the Superman cartoon.
Yep,
All they got to do now is make Dan Turpin come back, and then there you go.
that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be good. That Jack Kirby looking man, have him come back. Actually, speaking of Superman, people can't see it right now, but Matt's Skype profile pic is that cool opening image from Superman number 7 from this week, which we will talk about when we get to the comics of the week.
Oh, how we'll talk about it.
There was a lot of Superman love this week, wasn't there, Matt?
There was.
There was so much to go around, but from Superman love to Star Wars love. Last night was the premiere of Star Wars Rebels. They did a special 40-minute long episode, and I can only imagine Matt and myself have a lot to say on the matter.
Oh yeah, if you want to check out my review, you can go check out my review, but it was pretty awesome.
I was writing my review before we started.
It was pretty awesome. I managed to see it a little bit early because of Disney XD.
Nice.
But yeah, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah, who does very little in the episode, but I like that he does little. He just shows up, is like, yeah, I'm a badass, I'll be back later.
Yeah, no, well, I think it was a fantastic intro to the character, very much like how he is in like the old expanded universe books, and I'm liking that they're not really changing anything about him. He's still like a tactical genius and very much sort of like this commanding presence, and he knows what the rebels are going to do before they even do it, and this is awesome.
What I like about Thrawn is something very understated. It's nothing no one ever brings up, but it's something you can see visually. He is the only alien in an entire organization that seems to hate aliens and tries to keep them down, and yet he's a goddamn Grand Admiral.
Yeah, that should tell you something about him.
Yeah, about what a badass he is, that they had no other choice but to promote him to their absolute highest office.
Yeah.
We kind of got to see Ezra breaking bad too. He's been, he's been drinking that dark side Kool-Aid, you could say.
Oh, you mean Edra?
Edra? Oh, because he's edgy now. He's Edra. I like that. Crawling in my Jedi skin. Kanan just doesn't understand. There's even the moment where Kanan finds his Sith holocron, and it's kind of like, what is this? Are you doing drugs, young man?
I like that scene where Kanan is in Ezra's quarters, and the holocron's there, and he's trying to move it and everything, and I guess Kanan senses it or something. And he's like, "What is this, young man? You're not allowed to have this. You're too young.
You're too young to dabble in the dark arts, or ever, because dark arts are bad." Damn it, Jedi Dad, you just don't understand. I only do it socially at parties. I'm holding it for a friend. Is this your horrible ancient Sith holocron? No. Look, well, maybe if you just did some too, you'd understand. Yeah, it's a really funny scene. But yeah, they do some interesting stuff with Ezra. He's cut his hair, for one, so he's not like that anime-looking kid anymore. His voice is like an octave deeper.
Yep.
He's wearing a costume closer to Kanan's, and he's no longer carrying around that blaster-lightsaber combo. He now has his own blaster and a lightsaber.
Yeah, a new lightsaber as well. It's nice and green.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Which leads me to
It
believe...
looks like Luke's second one as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, hey, when do you have time to make that? Because there's a huge time gap in between the end of last season and now.
Yeah, we're not really given... I put it down to about 6 months to a year.
Yeah, give or take.
Also, I don't know whether you noticed, but Ezra is also ranks higher than everyone else on the Ghost Crew except for Hera.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant now, which is like holy
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. In the rebellion as well. That the rebellion is now like a big thing now since they've got all these ships and everything, and we're going to be obviously seeing a bit more of them.
They got all those Y wings, which that's the formation or the beginning of the formation of the Rogue Squadron, right?
Oh, I don't. Y-wings weren't Rogue Squadron, but they were like I can't remember what they were, but I imagine these are the ones that are going to be used in A New Hope to bomb the Death Star. So
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
because isn't Wedge going to be a character this season too? Didn't they make a big point of that he's going to be coming up?
Yeah, Wedge is going to appear in the third episode when they break him out of a Imperial training facility.
That's really cool. I think that's awesome. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I guess another big thing worth talking about, and I'll ask you because I know you're the authority on these things. The Bandu, that weird gorilla-faced thing that Kanan goes to meet out in the desert, is that like a thing in Star Wars lore that I didn't know about, or is that brand new for Rebels?
It's half and half. The name Bendu is like old school, like first draft of Star Wars from George Lucas in the mid 1970s. Since Bendu was originally the name for the Jedi,
Right.
they're called Jedi Bendu or something. And he mentions two planets as well, which is also something from that draft as well, related to the Force. But the Bendu as a creature is something new.
Right. Okay, that's clever. I like that. That sounds very Rebels.
Yeah, and he's voiced by the fourth Doctor Who,
Oh,
Tom
nice.
Tom Baker.
Nice, nice. Good
Third
casting.
third or fourth Doctor.
All right.
Really cool casting.
Yeah, I thought he sounded great. I mean, he kind of plays the Yoda role to Kanan in this episode as he teaches him to basically daredevil it up and walk around while being blind.
Yeah. Also, I think the guy. I'm just going to actually check this, but I think the guy who voices Grand Admiral Thrawn is Mads Mikkelsen's brother.
Yeah, his last name was Mickelson, and I thought that I'm like, wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah, he was also the bad guy in the last Sherlock season. I'm just checking it now. I'm fairly certain it is. Where's IMDb? There's IMDb. I'm fairly certain I remember hearing something about that. Yes, he is.
Huh? That's really cool.
Yeah,
Holy shit! I did not know that. That makes a great episode even more awesome now that you mention that.
yeah, keeping it in the family.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. You know, I can play creepy sounding guys. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I can make it happen. What was another thing I had to say? Oh yeah, I like Kanan's big revelation there. From being blind to being allowed to see is like, no, I was awesome all along. In fact, being blind makes me even more badass than I was before.
I know. I can't wait to see what he does this season.
He is literally the Zatoichi now. He is literally the blind samurai.
The one thing I'm really disappointed in this, we didn't actually get to see what Maul was up to. I think he's in the
No.
next episode, but there was no like hint to what he's up to, like what his deal is.
Never in all my years did I believe, after how lame and disappointing Darth Maul was in the original Phantom Menace, to think that they would write him such a rich and interesting history and storyline in the expanded universe across like multiple shows and comics.
I know, right?
They almost redeem him in the movie, don't they?
Oh yeah,
I especially like his new marching orders in like season 3 of Rebels, where he's like, "No, I hate Palpatine. I hate Darth Vader. I hate what they've done to the Sith Order that I gave my life to and everything. And if I can't make the Sith run my way, then I'll just destroy them all."
yeah. He's kind of good, but also he's still kind of bad because he hates like Kanan and Ezra and all that.
He's his
So
own
he's
kind
kind
of
of
villain.
in the middle. He's in the middle there.
He's a wild card, and I like that about him.
Yeah. Also, we've got Hondo as well again.
Back again, Jim Cummings, man, killing it. Talk about another original Star Wars character from Clone Wars to now who has had this amazing arc.
I know, it's so good. Also, news broke just before the episode actually came out, but apparently Dave Filoni's stepping down as director or
Oh, no.
something big. And no, well, I think it's like he's passing it on to some other guy, but I think it's because he's most likely going to be going to work on another anthology film.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's still involved in everything, but he stepped down from some role. I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I mean, he's been involved in all of it pretty much since day one, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see where he ends up going. Wouldn't it be funny if they're like, look, we need to take you off the animations because we need you for something bigger?
Yeah, for the movie. Well, he's been on sets of the movies and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and why would an animation guy need to be on the set of the movies?
Yeah, we like you. You've proven yourself over the years, so yeah, we want to give you another project. And you know what? Attaching that name to a riskier Star Wars project would, I'm sure, make fans be like, no, 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 he'll do a good job.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that one, everyone. I'm sure as more Star Wars news breaks, we'll tell you about it. The other big show that technically premiered last week, but something that I figured we would still talk about because I don't know if Matt and I got a chance to speak on it yet. But Agents of Shield came back.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool.
It was really cool, actually. Yet again, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., one of its strengths as a series is how it completely reinvents and reimagines itself every season. Where honestly, I think even if you dropped off last season or haven't been watching, period, you could start back at this episode and actually pretty much be able to carry it on.
Oh yeah, definitely. And the cool thing is with its new time slot, it got a new rating, and it showed its rating off the bat, where we see guys get sprayed in
Oh
blood and
yes,
spines ripped out and everything.
we
And
get a little sexiness too with Daisy, where I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I
yeah, that was kind of surprising.
I don't know how sexy panties is part of a suiting up montage, but I'll take it. She needed those to use her quake powers. You didn't know it, but that's what was necessary.
Yeah, they're the source of her powers.
You thought it was Inhuman genes, but no, it's regular genes. Yeah, we got our look at Robbie too, who's kind of an amalgamation of all of the Ghost Riders, honestly, up until this point.
Yep, and his first introduction was pretty much panel for panel from the comic
Yep,
in the car.
coming out in his crazy awesome Hell Charger, doing a big crazy flip.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, I think it's great that in this day and age they can have an effect like that on television.
Yeah, oh my god, the effect like at the end when he fights Quake
So
and he
good.
face turns from Robbie to the skull is absolutely amazing. It's network TV.
So good, so good. And they definitely seem to be making the argument that, like, Robbie's not going away after this opening arc. They seem to be imply that he's going to be here all season long.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with him. I think they plan on like tying him and like the Ghost Rider thing into the more mystical side since we got Doctor Strange coming out in a month. So yeah.
It's only fitting that Ghost Rider kind of be our gateway into that universe. The only story I wasn't absolutely in love with was, believe it or not, the LMD thing, and we've been asking for LMDs for how long?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was kind of weird. That they were try. I think they were trying to balance too much in this first episode. They had the Ghost Rider stuff, the Daisy stuff. They had that weird crate that had some ghost woman in it.
Yeah, the Ghost
Um,
Crate.
yeah, and then they had the LMD storyline.
The who is the new director thing, which is actually
Yeah,
really interesting.
yeah,
That's a good mystery. I want to see where that goes.
yeah. I think it would have served the show better if it had like a 2 hour premiere.
My only issue with the LMD plot is that they have to kind of bend over backwards to find a reason for Fitz to be dishonest to Simmons, or it's like, oh well, I can't tell her about these lifelike robots, or that'll harm her new position in the thing, even though these robots will almost certainly start killing and or replacing people, and she'll be double mad at me for not telling her.
Yeah, Simmons' new sort of post is pretty interesting. She now like commands May and a bunch of the other people. She's like a higher color than them.
Yeah, because we've done away with numbers; it's colors now. Which speaks to what this new director is doing. He's having like a more, well, I assume it's a he, it could be a woman too, a more segmented, more bureaucratic, colder, distant Shield than before.
Yeah, it's definitely a him director because he's played by Jason O'Mara.
Oh, we know for a fact now that's who he is.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so Jason O'Mara, the man who did the voice of Batman, is now doing a director of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's funny. Batman, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's right, we were talking about this before.
yeah, yeah. Also, Coulson got a new hand that lets him see through things.
A super awesome hand. He basically has superpowers now.
Yeah, I'm hoping they bring back that shield he had last season.
Oh yeah, that shield was great.
Yeah, and I hope he gets like a like a laser gun hand as well, like he can shoot lasers out of his fingers or something. That'd be pretty awesome.
Repulsor, he needs to like take some down
Oh my
Iron Man
god.
tech. He's like, look, now I've got a shield and a repulsor. I'm all the Avengers in one guy.
Yeah, you could just get like that sound wave thing that Tony Stark used in Civil War.
Wicked.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I'm all for that. Super Coulson to the rescue. Just every season I get a couple more powers.
Also, like just talking about the LMD thing again, like people sort of assume that maybe they'll do like an LMD of Ward. But see, I don't think they will because as like they were saying in the show, the LMDs are there to like sort of protect everyone. Like it makes no sense like making an LMD of a guy who traumatized the team so much to protect them. I think if they do make an LMD of any cast character who's died, I think it'll be Lincoln.
That would be cool. Again, I'm thinking too, as is often the case with these Blade Runner-ish robots, it's only a matter of time before they go crazy and start killing and or replacing people. So I could see them make like an evil Ward bot to try and fight them. Plus, it would be a good excuse to get that actor back again, if even for a minute.
Yeah, well, he kind of needs to come back. He's starring in like WWE movies now, so
Oh, is he really?
yeah, he's in some like new. He's like the star of some new WWE movie
That's
about
unfortunate.
becoming a Christian or something. Or
Oh,
yeah,
oh. Man, WWE films, all the acting of your standard wrestling match, but with less the action. They actually made a movie. The title is slipping me right now, but it was hilarious. They basically filmed a movie in arenas where they were doing shows, so they could like have them all together in one place, and so no one would like miss any appearances.
yeah.
They did, and I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And you could see how totally. Countdown is what it was called.
Oh, okay.
Countdown. It was straight to video, and like you could totally tell the time period in which they made it because like what costumes people were wearing and what gimmicks they had. I just thought that was like such like a grindhouse way to make movies, where it's like, look, what do we have? Stadiums. What are we going to make the movie about? Stadiums. Or will we use the same camera? Sure, let's do that. Well, how are we going to explain why there's wrestling matches going on in each one? We'll make it part of the story, that's why. And we'll just have people appear as themselves so they don't have to act. It'll be great. It'll be great.
It's gonna be great.
It's going to be great. See, talk about a movie that we should totally riff, Countdown, just because it's so, like, you almost have to respect the level of punk rock filmmaking that went into that. Like, we'll use whatever we have. And we'll make a damn movie about it is what we'll do. So yeah, that's that, everyone. That's your Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. talk. I think we got some good mileage out of that, talking about the shows. I'm sure when Flash and the other stuff premieres, we'll talk about that one too for a little bit.
Yeah, they premiere soon, don't they? Like
Real soon.
next
Everything's coming
week, or the week after, or something.
all the frickin' shows are coming back. South Park is back. Saturday Night Live returns this week, which actually I found out while reading about it. Margot Robbie is going to be the first host of Saturday Night Live this season.
She is.
Yeah, she is. I wonder if they're going to have some Suicide Squad jokes in there. They have to.
Of course they will.
It's too easy. They should make a joke about how every woman is cosplaying Harley Quinn now.
I hope they do.
I
Because it's
hope-
true. It's really true.
I hope Kate McKinnon and everyone else there in the cast is dressed up like Harley Quinn. That'd be good. That's a fun joke. Or do the thing that like Daniel Radcliffe did, where he's like, "Look, there will be no Harley Quinn sketches tonight," and then have the actors turn away in costume, like, "Yeah, okay." I swear to you tonight, there will be none. I will not put you through that. But yeah, so that's that. I guess we can hop into what we read this week. And I haven't even scratched the surface of the stuff I had to read this week. There was so much. I had to go back twice to pick up everything.
I had a little bit of free time this weekend, and I had the house to myself, so I powered through a bunch of them. I still got like 3 or 4 comics left, but I've read them all. I just haven't done the reviews for them.
There's a bunch I haven't read, and there's a bunch I haven't even done reviews for. What I got sitting around here on my desktop right now, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have literally 10 sitting here.
Oh, wow.
A lot of these are either series that are ending, like Civil War II X-Men, and some are like other mini series that are just starting, like Raven #1 that I did this week. And then there's friggin'
I
Deadpool #18 from last week, which I haven't found a chance to put up yet. It was good too, is the funny thing.
Yeah, and that,
Would you like to go first this week, Matt? And would you like to talk about Superman? Because I'm sure you're bursting at the seams to talk about Superman #7, and I can't blame you because it was great.
yeah, let's talk about Super Number 7. As you said, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
I don't know what else you could say about it. It was a slam dunk, a home run winner of an issue.
Yeah, and I don't know whether you noticed, but like all these like issue sevens that are, or at least weren't Batman or Nightwing, were sort of like these kind of filler
A little bit,
issues that like between like a break between story arcs. So the Green Lantern one was the same, but that's actually going into the next storyline. But yeah, Superman 7 was absolutely fantastic. Definitely something that Superman has been missing for the last 5 years.
Joy and wonder and just down to earthedness.
Yeah, just, Superman being Superman, Clark being Clark, Lois being Lois.
I will say that this issue really hit a chord with me. For those who don't know, the story involves, Clark Kent going to the Hamilton County Fair with his family. And as someone who grew up in a rural area, and for someone who literally, my local county fair is happening right now, I think tonight was the last night for it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't end up going because I'm trying to save money for New York, but I mean, man, does Peter Tomasi and Gleason totally nail that feeling of like small town local fairs.
These two guys have been like a godsend to this book. Like, who would have thought? Like, this guy, he's been writing like Batman and Robin and like all these comics, and then he
Green
gets put on
Lantern.
Superman. Yeah, it's Green Lantern, and then he gets put on Superman and absolutely nails the character from the first issue.
Yeah, ends up being arguably one of the best to write the character in a very, very long time. I mean, I guess that's just what comes with being a super talented writer.
Yeah, and it's also kind of telling of like what the New 52 was like, how he was all kind of like mopey and always kind of depressed, and that could never really have any, like the whole thing, like they killed off his parents, so he had no interaction with Mara and Park Kent,
Which was horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. This is a Superman who can inspire as well as excite, and I think that's something that was definitely lost in the New 52, where it's like, no, we need to give Superman, more human problems. We need to show him, struggling and being, torn and everything. And it's like, well, what's wrong with just showing Superman be Superman? Is that too much to ask?
yeah, exactly. And even like this issue, this shows that he can be Superman and a man.
Absolutely, and even have kind of problems with that too. I like the idea that Superman swears, look, we're going to the carnival. I'm not going to be doing any superheroing. You have my full undivided attention. Oh no, meth heads are trying to rob the carnival. What do I do? What do I do?
I'll just dress in a medieval cape.
And beat the shit out of them while no one is looking. And then to have Lois be like, I knew it, not mad, just like I knew you couldn't go a whole day without Supermaning Superman.
I like that, and he uses the up and away
Wonderful,
as well.
wonderful, so perfect, so well done. Between the up and away and the redoing of the classic Superman #1 cover, this comic is really doing everything right.
Yeah, it's going to be up in my top 10 of the year at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard not to put it there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely going to be hard not to put that one there for sure. And this was a great week for Superman across the board, because we also had Trinity #1 too, which is a book that I don't think any of us really knew what it was going to be, and man, did that first issue surprise.
Oh, it was amazing. It was written and drawn by Francis Manapul, and his writing is like 50-50
Oh yeah,
at
it's
best.
very hit or miss.
But this one was incredible. Absolutely amazing.
In this one, the writing and the art matched beautifully. This is a story all about Wonder Woman and Batman coming to dinner at the Clark family farm and being like, look, we need to get to know you, new Superman. We need to be the Trinity that you remember from your Earth.
Yeah, and what I really liked about this is, did you ever read the original Trinity series by Mark Bagley and Kurt Busiek, I think it was by?
I
Did you
read
ever read it?
I read enough of it to know that it's like, Batman is, justice, Superman is hope, Wonder Woman is truth, and they reiterate that throughout this.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of similar to that series as like in the first issue, it's really about in that series it was really about them just like sort of sitting around drinking coffee and talking with each other, and it's very much the similar in this issue as well. It's just them sitting around and talking with each other.
It's so simple and so beautiful, and something I think a lot of comic writers miss, where it's like, we like to see our heroes as just like everyday people. Like the punching aliens and fighting crime stuff is good, but sometimes we want more down to earth stuff like this. Just them having fun and having lives outside the costume, or not. Like, Batman is always on, and that's the joke.
Yeah, and if anything, this comic made me kind of upset because we're never going to get something like this in the movies.
Oh, I know, right?
There's never going to be a moment where everything just sort of peters out, and it's like that scene in Age of Ultron where we just see them after the party and they're just like chilling, trying to lift Thor's hammer. We're never
The
going to get
best
something
part.
like that in the DC films.
Tragedy, true tragedy that we'll never get something like that. It's really,
Yeah,
really
and
sad.
also Rainbow Batman.
Rainbow frickin' Batman, Superman being like, hey, all those crazy Silver Age stories? Yeah, well, for me, they actually happened and are actually history, and I have an endless amount of them that I could tell.
I think that's amazing, and I love Bruce's reaction to that. And it's like, I never remember that happening. That never happened.
Not on this Earth, maybe. I hope that
It hasn't happened yet.
I hope that becomes a thing for this new Superman in Trinity. I hope he keeps bringing up crazy stories.
Crazy Batman stories, like the next issue brings up the zebra Batman or something,
Or the
and
mummy Batman.
yeah, and everyone just starts picking on Bruce because they're like, "Wow, Bruce, you're really weird."
Hell, Wonder Woman can have some too. Hey, on my Earth, Wonder Woman lost her powers and learned kung fu and became a secret agent for a bit.
Yeah, remember that time when you were blind and you tried to kill Cheetah?
Wonder Woman's like, no, but yes. So well handled. I think my favorite moment is like the one moment where Batman actually lets down his guard and relates to Clark. It's over his kid. It's over his son.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's so fitting where it's like, say what you want about Batman, but he's raised a fair amount of kids in his day.
Yeah.
There is a nice fatherly side to Batman that is sometimes forgotten, although kind of ironic too, that they're bonding over the kid, where it's like, yeah, kids are great. Oh god, I let Tim die again.
He just breaks down and has like Vietnam flashbacks.
About all his dead kids. I'd love it if Batman's like, you keep that kid real close, Clark, you watch him all the time, or else drones will fly out of the air and kill him, or clowns will beat them with crowbars. Or your best friend who's a psychologist will tell you that they're dead, but they're not really dead because they were just mad at you for bringing kids into your war on crime. And then your son will die because his clone who's dressed like a sheik will kill him, but then he'll be fine and be back though because space. And Superman to be like, what the fuck? I lose a lot of kids.
Yeah, I think it's time for you to go home, Bruce.
You've had one too many. I'll tell you when I've had enough. Batman would still be that guy too to ruin a party, wouldn't he?
Yeah, they have to like call Alfred to come get him, and
It's like, well, Alfred, he's taking his shirt off now and he's screaming at the roof. We tried to poke him down with a mop, but that just made things worse. He keeps calling the mop Scarecrow, and now he's suplexing it. Not today, Dr. Jackstraw. Not on my watch. But yeah, Trinity was great. Superman was great. Great week for Superman books. Just across the board and in general, really strong.
yeah,
Did you read the Monster Men books this week?
I did. I read both of them.
Yeah, what'd you think of them?
I thought they were pretty cool.
They were cool. The idea of having the Bat family fight giant kaiju monsters. How did it take us this long to get here?
It not fight giant kaiju monsters, but fight giant kaiju monsters between a like class 5 hurricane.
Oh yeah, the idea of benching it in a natural disaster is really clever.
Yeah, and I love that in the Batman issue how they're like trying to work out a plan to sort of get everyone up to the caves, and I think it was Batwoman and Nightwing are like Bruce, you're not going to save everyone, this is a natural disaster. You can't stop a natural disaster.
Oh, I fucking can.
I am surprised though you didn't like. Oh wow! Oh, I know people who can stop natural disasters, and just gets like Diana and Bruce and Clark on the phone. Come help.
Look, Flash, can you come to my city and run really fast in a circle to make it so the hurricane won't hit? Well, I could, Bruce, but why should I though? Because I goddamn told you to. Yeah, I like this idea too that Batman's kind of cracking under the pressure because he lost Gotham in the main Batman book, he lost him in Detective Comics, and he's like, no, no more deaths, no one dies.
Yeah. Also, I'm wondering since this story is actually going to start involving Bane next issue. I think
Is
next
it?
issue or the issue. I'm pretty sure. Or is he involved in the I Am Suicides? Because I've seen like previews of um of the next Batman book and Bane's in it.
I think that one comes after, but then I'm asked, well, how long is Night of the Monster Men? Does it just run one issue in each? Will it be done with Detective next week?
Yeah. Well, if that's the case, that's a really short arc.
Yeah, only three. Oh, I mean, if they stick the landing,
Yeah.
if they
Because
stick,
I was going to say, like, if Bane was involved, then this could be something like a Nightfall storyline where Batman's sort of run ragged by these monsters and this hurricane, and then Bane comes in with Psycho Pirate and wipes him out.
yeah. What Matt's talking about is we got to see like a preview for I can only assume it's the next arc of Detective Comics, I Am Suicide, or no, of the Batman book, I Am Suicide.
Yeah,
And we
yeah,
actually see Bane like talking to Psycho Pirate and kind of like reiterating his origin story. And what's great about it is that Bane is sitting on a throne of skulls completely naked. I love that.
yeah. I like that as well.
And it's
Also,
like,
go ahead.
or no, you go ahead. You were on a roll.
I was going to say, like, in Batman issue 7, we got Hugo Gaines.
Oh my God! Thank you for mentioning that. He is jacked, brother. He is so jacked.
His time with the Aryan Brotherhood and Blackgate really paid off.
Oh my God! You can only imagine too, where it's like, why does Hugo Strange need to be so jacked? Is he going to get into a fist fight with Batman? Or keeping with the theme of his character, and that is when he first popped on the scene, he's like, oh, I will, psychologically profile Batman. Oh, I will become Batman. Is this why he's doing the monster thing, so he can kill Batman and replace him?
Probably.
What I want in the next issue is I want Hugo Strange to be hitting that tire with the sledgehammer. That's what I want.
So I saw this in a Batman movie
I
once.
saw this in a movie once. It will give me wicked mad gains, bro. I will be big and strong, and then all will fear me. But I mean, yeah, Monster Man, pretty solid, pretty cool. I think my favorite conversation is the one that Batwoman has with Batman, saying like, "Look, you might fight a war on crime, but I'm an actual soldier, and you'll never get the respect of any of your compatriots if you don't trust them, and you're not trusting them, and you never trust them, Batman."
No, I like that. Yeah,
Which, showing even in her short time running that Bat Family team in Detective, Kate has done a better job empowering and respecting all the members of her team.
yeah, and they actually listen to her a bit more than they do Bruce.
It is really like the team mom and team dad thing.
Yeah,
I wonder if that'll become a thing later on where it's like, well, Batman said no, so I went and asked Batwoman about it, and she said yes.
and she said I could stay up a little longer.
Kate's way nicer to us, Bruce. She says we can stay up till 10 on a school night. But I bought you the Bat Box. You mean Xbox? It's a Bat Box now. Everything is bats. But yeah, Night of the Monster Men was cool, and we kind of talked about both issues in one. What else did you have this week, Matt?
What did I have? I had Green Lanterns issue 7.
I'm an issue behind on that, but I'm sure it was good.
It was cool. It was like Superman issue 7. It was a fill-in,
Nice.
but it was also the first part of the next arc, which was it was really weird. It's just Simon and Jessica helping Simon's family get ready for Halloween and
Aw.
make cookies.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. They're getting closer together. Their buddy cop relationship is going to the next level.
Yeah, and what I really liked about it is like when Jessica came around, she was kind of overwhelmed by everything that was happening in the Baz household, and is like, no,
Of course.
I'm out. I've never experienced this, so I don't know what to do. And it took Baz coaxing her to come back to do it. And what's that Guardian's name? Rami. He ends up leaving because apparently the Dominators are following him now.
Uh-oh. Those assholes, those jerks.
Yeah, those jerks that have been around for a while.
Friggin' space jerks with your toothy monster faces and your psychic powers. They're psychic, aren't they?
I don't know. I know they're yellow and they have like this massive red symbol on their face, and
They're
they
creepy as
they
fuck.
tried to destroy the galaxy like in the 90s and stuff like that.
Why aren't those guys in a movie? Those guys are creepy as shit.
They are.
If I did a Green Lantern movie, they would be the villains, is what they would be. They'd be the first villains, and I'd do like, like an almost alien thing with Hal and the other Green Lanterns, where it's like, there's these guys called the Dominators, and they're fucking horrifying. You know space? You know how deep and dark space is? You know the creepy shit at the bottom of the ocean where it's deep and dark? Imagine that, but they're psychic.
Yeah, they invade your mind.
Yeah, and dominate it. Yeah. Is anything good ever called a Dominator? No.
No, I am though interested to find out who's going to wield this Phantom Ring.
That has all the powers of all the shit.
Yeah, because in a solicitation we've seen someone wielding it. You can't tell who it is because they're covered in like this construct sort of thing. But also I think Kyle Rayner comes back as well, and he's still a White Lantern.
Right.
He was in that Omega Men book written by Tom King.
Oh shit, he was too. They faked his
I
death.
kind of let that. Yeah, I kind of let that go to the wayside. I'm kind of regretting it because apparently it got really, really good.
Yeah, some people are loving it. I think I read one thing there where it's like, oh, hey, new, like, the best comics of the year so far, and Omega Men was on there, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, considering it was a series that DC kind of like just let crash and burn, really. They never really advertised it or did anything with it. And it only finished up recently, I think.
I think after the success of Vision, that one getting like all the great critical reception and Batman starting to take off, I think a lot of people are becoming like not Tom King hipsters, but we're at that point where it's like, oh well, everything he wrote was always brilliant.
Yeah, they're getting on the bandwagon.
Yeah, the bandwagon. Get on now. Well, the getting's good. Well, there's still space. I need to go back and finish Vision. That's another one I need to read for the bus ride. I read like the first 5, and I'm like, yep, this is brilliant Blade Runner stuff. I see why everyone loved this. And then I dropped off on it.
That's finishing up soon, isn't it?
It is very soon.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the last issue, Vision defeated like the entire Avengers on his own.
It would not surprise me.
He's pretty goddamn powerful. He's like Martian Manhunter, where it's like, don't mess with him.
Yeah. So like, why didn't he defeat them all in the Civil War book this week?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's on Tony's team. Tony would just be like, just go wipe him out, Vision.
When you mention it, let's talk about that. Civil War 2.
Eh.
Yeah, that's my feeling exactly. Man, it's a comic that came out. Stuff happened.
Eh. So, another future crime happened, and Captain Marvel tried to arrest Miles Morales.
A future crime so big, I have to ask myself, why didn't the book start here? Why did you have to do the 7 other issues worth of stuff? This should have been the incident right here.
Yeah, I don't know why it wasn't.
How huge would that be? Hey, we saw a vision of Miles Morales, this young, half African-American, half Latino Spider-Man, killing Captain America, and that divides the entire Marvel Universe on that note.
Yeah, no, we'll just divide them by them killing off Bruce Banner and a bunch of other stuff.
Because
hasn't had really an effect on anything.
It would be so fitting because it would be like the younger generation of heroes versus the older generation of heroes. You could put in like some, pulled from the headlines, real racial politics and everything, where, like maybe Miles becomes a pariah in the media, and you got like all the Rush Limbaugh and Coulter stand-ins where it's like, well, just look at him, he killed America.
Yeah, he literally killed America.
He literally killed America. And then we as the reader could be all smart and be like, but wait though, but Captain America's mind has been rewritten. He believes himself to be a Hydra sleeper agent, so maybe Miles had a good reason for killing him, but they don't know that yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I immediately, when I saw that, thought. I thought, oh, maybe they find out he's a Hydra agent and he turns on everyone or something. And
you could even have the Tony Carroll thing. You could, of course, have Tony stand up to protect Miles because he's like, no, he's my little buddy and everything. He's on my Avengers team. I'm kind of like a second mentor to him. And then have Carroll be like, oh, well, I don't know. I'm getting a lot of governmental pressure right now to try and do something about him. And then even have Captain America, what he thinks, where he's like, well, maybe he would kill me, maybe he wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
The funniest and most infuriating part of this newest issue is that we get the big fight, and the Inhumans come in to help out Carol's team and like swing the fight in her favor. Meanwhile, Ulysses, the one everyone is fighting over, they tell him to stay home and guard the base.
Yeah, and that would have been like the perfect chance for like Tony to go in and grab him or something.
That was such a pathetic piece of bad writing in my mind, where it's just like, well, you gotta guard the base. Even though we know for a fact that, oh, Ulysses' powers are triggered by emotion, so don't make him emotional. Well, sit here and guard the base. I'm so emotional, everyone have a vision. And I'm like, you walked right into that, Medusa. I thought you were supposed to be smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Even the fight was kind of underwhelming. Like, don't get me wrong, there was cool shit in it, but it felt like Bendis was just taking time off to write characters he liked. Whereas, like, okay, and here's Luke Cage versus Blue Marvel, and here's Magic, who I wrote in X-Men, versus Sam Wilson, who I didn't write, so she beats him, and Luke Cage beats Blue Marvel, and all the characters I've written win against the characters I haven't written.
Yeah, and he focused quite a bit on the Guardians of the Galaxy, especially Star-Lord.
The most focus they've ever gotten in anything.
Yeah, he's talking about how he's friends with Tony Stark, and I'm like, not really.
He had an adventure with you, and then they make him look dumb too. Whereas like, well, why are you on Carol's side? Oh well, because she called first.
Yeah. So he's just whoever called first, he would have been on their team.
Well, it's nice to know that's how the Guardians of the Galaxy roll. Also, another weird one. We get the first ever canon meeting between Miles Morales and Flash Thompson Venom, which should be huge, right? And Miles says, "Ooh, I don't like symbiotes," implying that he has memory of the symbiotes that killed his mother back in the Ultimate Universe, even though he probably shouldn't. But Bendis wanted to make that reference because he wanted to tag work that he had done previously. And then Flash does the weirdest goddamn thing where it's like, you're not the real Spider-Man, I know Spider-Man, Spider-Man's my favorite and you're not him. And Miles says, oh great, another hardcore Spider-Man fan telling me what I should do. And I'm like, oh no, don't make Flash one of those guys. Don't make Flash one of them. We like Flash. Don't make him into one of those guys.
Yeah, don't make it meta.
Yeah, not in this situation. Like, that comes out of nowhere, and it feels yucky because I like Flash and I like Miles, and I hate Bendis' kind of saying, well, but you like Miles more, though, right? And I'm like, don't prop one character up at the expense of another.
Yeah.
To make, like, Flash into this intolerant D-bag of, like, it's not my Spider-Man, hashtag take back the webs. I don't want him to be that guy, and Bendis kind of made him that guy, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Although maybe this is part of a bigger bearing of Flash Thompson, because the big rumor is in that new Venom book, it's not going to be Flash.
No?
No, it's going to be someone new.
Oh, okay.
Or shit, it might just be Eddie Brock again. I don't fucking know. But it's not going to be Flash though. If you could deputize a new Venom in the Marvel Universe, and this is a question for you, Matt, and the people listening, who would you give the Venom symbiote? Obviously, Eddie Brock has had it. Matt Gargan, the Scorpion, has had it. Who would you make Venom?
Ooh. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing what Frank Castle would do with it.
Ooh. Oh, but he's already the Punisher, though. And plus, we've already had what-ifs with them. It would be cool, but I don't know if they would ever make that canon.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd like to see it on someone D-list. Hell, give it to the Shocker and see what he does with it. Hell, give it to Boomerang. Give it to anyone from Superior Foes of Spider-Man and see what they do with that huge power upgrade.
They wouldn't know what to do with it.
Give it to another good hero and see what's done with it. Who's a hero who's been depowered as of recently who could do with a comeback?
Thor.
Thor, well, technically he didn't lose
That
his
could be
powers.
pretty cool. That could be pretty cool.
He just lost his hammer and he's going to be getting the ultimate one. He doesn't need a symbiote right now.
He would be too OP.
No, he would be too... Because he's got the magic hammer, he's got the magic axe, he's got a robot arm. You put a symbiote on him and no one could stop him. He's literally... You'd have to nerf him in the next update because he's too OP. He's breaking the game that is the Marvel Universe. Just couldn't do it, man. Just couldn't do it. But yeah, that was Civil War. It's a very, very meh comic and a very meh event.
Yeah, if they'd probably kept up with the actual release date, it probably would be a bit better. But now it's just like the slow burn. You keep forgetting about it, and
Yeah,
it's being spoilt in the tie-ins and stuff like
the
that.
tie-ins which are finishing, we're already going to be getting post Civil War 2 books, and this one's not even going to be done yet. It's like, why even bother?
Yeah.
It's like, why even bother? It's just depressing. What else did you have going on, Matt?
Well, keeping up with the Civil War 2 at the last Gods of War tie-in.
Oh yes.
It's pretty cool. Hercules defeated those new gods with the help of his Gods of War team, and in doing so, Athena sort of comes to him and says he's a worthy hero now
Oh
for what he's done and everything. And I guess that sort of sets him up for him being on an Avengers team a little later
yeah.
on. He's sort of been redeemed a little bit and everything.
We already know he's getting a promotion. I really hope when they collect this book, I hope they collect this Civil War stuff and the stuff that came before into one collection. They really should.
Or has his book beforehand, his Hercules book, hasn't that already been released?
Did it? I didn't even know there was enough issues to collect it and release it.
There was a few issues for that,
It
I
got at
think.
least one trade. It got one volume out of it.
I think so. Yeah, I'll have a look.
They should
I'm pretty sure.
They should collect all of these into an omnibus because they're basically telling one solid story. And it's going to be really annoying for like fans in the future to try and collect all of these. Be like, okay, look, read the first volume of the new Hercules series, then read this Civil War II tie-in that isn't really related to Civil War II at all, but finishes the story.
Yeah, yeah. It got a release. It got released back in June.
Oh, holy shit! No, they
It's
should
called
do
Hercules Still Going Strong.
nice. They should do an omnibus that collects all of this. That's what I would like.
Yeah.
I think that would read much nicer in trade later.
Well,
But was that it? I thought you had a follow up.
oh no, 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 no.
Oh no, you sounded like you had a follow up. One book that while we're talking about stuff that we didn't love this week, Justice League #5 came to an end this week, or at least in its first arc, it did.
Yep.
What the fuck was any of that?
I have no fuck. Like it started off good.
It did.
Like the first 2, 3 issues were okay, and then it's like, well, now there's a purge, and now there's the Reapers, and now there's these cyborg things, and now there's the Kindred, and Aquaman's got shiny crystal things,
That
and
saved the day.
Superman's in the middle of the earth, and Wonder Woman and Flash are stuck in some reality, and just so much shit happening.
I said it in my review, and I stand by it here. If you want to quote Brian Hitch for the back of your book, Joel and Matt of the comic Multiverse say, "What the fuck was any of that?" I didn't understand a goddamn thing from this book. And like I gotta say, man, like you and I, we read a lot of comics. We have a high threshold for weirdness and like different realities and meta text and characters from different timelines. This was just confusing for no reason.
Yeah, it had no like. If they'd kept it with just okay, there's these Reapers from space and they're attacking Earth, and it's up to the Justice League to stop them. That was as simple as, except they involved the Earth spawning these kindred to stop them with a
Giant
purge.
naked giants who sing a song, and Aquaman who is away from the team for the majority of this thing, yet somehow saves the day because he has magic crystals that talk to him, so he knew that they were right.
I do like though in the book that Brian Hitch actually commented on that, and he's like, yeah, the magic crystals. I'm really confused as well.
Dude, you wrote it if you're confused. It's funny too that like when this series started, it was all about like, oh well, this is Superman making his first mission with the Justice League. He's coming to join them. Will they accept him or will they be wary of him? And at the end, they don't even ask him. At the end, they make a bigger deal out of Jessica joining the team. Hey, how was your first
Yeah.
mission, Jessica? It was pretty good. Bye, Superman.
Yeah, Superman's like, I'm going home now. I have a kid and a wife waiting.
So they even bungle the one story thread that they actually had in 5 issues.
Yeah. Do we know what the next one is? Because it's not going to be the Justice League versus Suicide Squad, because that's its own book.
It is its own book. Yeah, we have no idea what the next one's going to be. I hope it's better.
I do as well. I reckon like he had all these storylines, and maybe some of them were leftovers from his JLA book,
Sure felt that
and
way.
he's just like I'm just gonna shove them all in here because I don't know how this managed to get past like editors and
I
everything,
know,
and
right?
like how did someone like sit down and read this and like that makes sense? We're gonna print that.
Like everything else in DC Rebirth has been hitting so hard and has been so concrete and so concise and so cool. The fact that Justice League, which should be one of their AAA flagship books, can be so shitty is amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, who dropped the ball on this? Like really?
Yeah.
Who dropped the balls? And I hope they got like a rap across the knuckles. No, no, bad, bad. Like this was so bad where I'm like, Brian Hitch, please leave this book.
Yeah, I don't understand because Brian Hitch can be a really cool writer. If he's get, but lately it's just been like him and JLA, and now this. I don't know what the hell was wrong with the guy.
Like JLA was complicated, but it was at least enjoyable.
It was one storyline.
Yeah, which you're like, okay, this might not even be in the main continuity. You don't know. It's kind of off to the side. They're kind of doing their own thing, whatever, whatever. This is the main Justice League book.
Yeah, yeah, and they had all this thing. They had enough threats in this book to last probably 4 arcs.
And like, I'm fine with a comic book being experimental and everything, and clearly this was trying to be experimental, but at least be good.
Yeah,
At least be good. Something that was good this week, Green Arrow #7. Did you get a chance to read that one yet?
I haven't read it. This is the only one I haven't read.
Then I'll be brief. Then it's the completion of this little Imiko flashback story that we've been doing with the Clock King. He gets to do some cool stuff this issue. Brother and sister get to reunite and reconcile. There's a cool fight with a dragon. I'm not going to tell you how they get to a dragon fight, but they fight a dragon in Japan.
It's not that guy that had the dragon tattoo on him last issue, was it?
No. This was a different guy, a different Japanese man who also happened to be a dragon.
Oh, okay, then cool.
Yeah. I had Uno on last week when you couldn't make it, Matt, and she made a very interesting point, and that is, what is it with Green Arrow continually fighting a bunch of monsters in the DC Rebirth? He fought werewolves before, he fought those little vampire underground men, he fought those burned zombies, and now he's fighting dragons, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair, he does fight a lot of monsters now, doesn't he?
It's true. It's true. I'm wondering if maybe because they think like, oh well, you can only kill so many meth heads.
I guess so. Well, although he does fight some lumberjacks in the beginning of this issue, and that's pretty great.
He stop chopping down our trees.
Well, it's funny. He does the ultimate liberal superhero thing, and I loved it so much. A bunch of pissed off redneck loggers were like, no pussy government's gonna tell us that trees are protected. We're loggers, damn it. We're gonna cut down like our daddies did. And Green Arrow comes up and he's like, look, guys, I'm really sorry that shifting economical times means that your once proud career is not proud anymore, but you're breaking the law, so I'm gonna come beat you up now. And it's wonderful, and I'm like, man, you could have replaced loggers with coal miners, and it would have been exactly the same.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good, and I'm like, yes, this is the smug, self-satisfying side of Green Arrow that I quite enjoy. So good, and I'm like, man, I hope this logger guy doesn't come back as a villain, because the logger is a bad name for a supervillain. Just makes you think shit, doesn't it? I'm the logger. I fling poop at you. But yeah, Green Arrow #7, fun book. I think they're going to finally get back to the whole island stuff now, which they had teased, and then they went back and told 2 Imiko stories.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
I know someone on Twitter was complaining, saying that, all of DC Rebirth Green Arrow has been too focused on Imiko, and I'm like, what, 2 stories that focused on her to fill in the gaps between the Lemire run and now? I don't think that's taken over the whole book. I think that's just 2 stories about the sidekick. I mean, by that rationale, man, Robin is really taking over these Batman books, isn't he, Matt?
Yeah.
It's just all Robin all the time. Like, well, it can't always be about the hero. It's refreshing sometimes to get some stories about the sidekick.
Yeah, they're part of the book as well, so...
Which is something we were totally missing in New 52. They totally downplayed the importance of the sidekicks in the supporting cast.
Yeah, legacy heroes.
It's nice to get a bit of a breather there. Actually, someone pointed out, too, that Imiko hasn't taken a superhero name yet, and because we got that Titans book coming up, wouldn't it be interesting if she joined that team as Speedy?
That'd be pretty cool.
Because there is no Speedy yet.
Yeah, and there can't be an Artemis because there's already one in the Red Hood book, and it's like some big woman
Well,
with like a sword or something.
that's the ancient Greek Artemis, of which the other Artemis took her name from.
Yeah, it'd be weird if there was two
It would
Artemises.
be
It get
quite
People
confusing.
would get confusing.
Yeah, wait, which Artemis? This Artemis? Then you get into like a who's on first with Artemises. Artemi, Artemises. What else did you want to talk about there, Matt? Because we've been going for a while still, and I imagine you still got some to talk about.
Well, I only just reviewed Wonder Woman issue 6. I reviewed it like just before we started this, and it was a pretty cool book. Are you keeping up with that book?
I am keeping up with it. In fact, I reviewed number 6 5 days ago. It was really good, and in fact, I think it's going to be an excellent bookend for when they collect this in trade because it finally kind of brings together the characters from the present storyline and the past storyline.
Yeah, it's going to be really weird how they do this in trade since it's telling
Two
concurrent,
stories.
it's telling parallel stories, but at the same time, sort of. Like every second issue is that one in the past, and every first one is that one in the future, and it's going to be like, are they going to do it like in one trade or two trades or something? It's going to be really weird.
I guess we'll have to find out, but yeah, I really liked that 6th issue of Wonder Woman. I thought it did a lot of stuff really well.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing I guess like the origin of Cheetah. How she's like this doctor and everything. Barbara Ann. He comes to, and I like her name is like Barbarian.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought that was-
Barbara Ann Minerva. Why have I never picked up on that before?
yeah, and how she's sort of the one who's able to talk to Wonder Woman the first, because no one can understand her.
Yeah, in her ancient dead dialect, which is quite cool and quite compelling.
Yeah, this is a really good origin story. It's like setting the record straight finally on Wonder Woman's origin. I thought that was pretty
And they
cool.
changed some shit around too. That now she didn't have the powers from the gods when she came to man's world. She only got the powers later.
Yeah, when those gods visited her in that jail cell.
It's an interesting twist on things. I like we get to see Etta Candy, and I like Etta Candy outrank Steve Trevor. I like she's technically his boss.
I like that too. I thought that was pretty
From
cool.
being like a secretary in the original version now to no, I'm your boss now.
It makes me disappointed that we're not going to get something like exactly like this set in modern times with the movie, because this is like this kind of reads like a movie. Like it'd be interesting to see
really
this, and it'd be
does.
kind of comedic as well because they can't understand each other, and there's all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like a wacky like comedy of misunderstandings and everything. You're right. This book is Greg Rucka's script for a Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, so it's kind of unfortunate we're not going to get a modern take on it.
Yeah, so I mean, if they were clever, they could pull a Marvel thing to be like, oh, hey, I'm Etta Candy Jr. or something like that, but they'll never do that.
Nah.
Like, Marvel just kind of gets away with that with, like, the Sharon Carter, Peggy Carter thing, but they're already trying to downplay those comparisons.
Right.
But yes, I guess I'll just lightning round through what I had this week. Again, I haven't even scratched the surface on a lot of the stuff I was supposed to read. Civil War II, X-Men #4, insanely disappointing.
Yeah.
Magneto, finally after his whole, I'm going to make war on New Attilan and the Inhumans, I'll show you. He comes and talks to Ulysses, and he's like, I'm going to kill you now, Ulysses. And he's like, I knew you would say that, because I can see the future. And because I can see the future, I'm going to, like, show you that if you try and kill me, Inhumans and mutants will fight, and a bunch of mutants will die, and you will feel bad. And Magneto's like, oh, you got me, I guess I'll leave then. That's literally how it ends. I'm not fucking around. And then Medusa makes a proclamation to be like, go, you better get out of here, Magneto, and if you come back again, it's gonna be war and we're gonna fight. And Magneto's like, yeah, I'll come back in a couple months for the event. And she's like, okay, see you in a couple months for this event then. So this was all just setting the stage for Inhumans versus X-Men. So this was a giant blue balls of a story.
That's funny.
Like, this story crapped out super hard at the end. It's kind of hilarious how hard it craps its pants in the last couple minutes.
Well, it's X-Men. Apparently, Marvel doesn't give a shit about X-Men.
They really, really don't. Which is unfortunate, because this was probably the one X-Men story I was enjoying the most in the last little bit.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, not cool. Shitty. The Mighty Thor #11, they do some crazy shit with Mjolnir the Hammer. They invent some new powers for it, and they're like, okay, we're going to retell Mjolnir's origin next issue.
Yeah, I actually saw some of the stuff from this issue and some of the crazy shit you've been talking about.
Gold bullets, flying cities, minotaurs. It's great stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving what Jason Aaron's doing with this. There's a funny bit with two Shield agents who have been trying to prove that Jane Foster is Thor, and they get proven wrong this issue. Like they hornswoggle them, and the two agents are like, "Man, we're really bad at our jobs. Maria Hill's gonna yell at us unless we can find something good." Ooh, I have a theory. I think that blind lawyer in Hell's Kitchen is actually Daredevil. Nah, that's stupid. I love this idea that there's two Shield agents out there who are always right about superheroes, but they always get tricked.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool series.
It would be just like this comedy of errors. You could even call it comedy of errors. Punisher #5 was cool. Aquaman was cool. I haven't read. The Extraordinary X-Men Annual was all right. Haven't read Ant-Man, haven't read Harley Quinn, haven't read Power Man and Iron Fist, and Raven was surprisingly interesting. You want to know what Raven was about?
I was thinking about picking this up, and I'm like, is it just like a tie-in? Like, what's its deal? Because I never heard it get like a rebirth book, or like, is it in continuity, or what? What's the deal with
it's
it?
an in-continuity book. It's a mini-series, is what it is. I'm sure it will eventually tie in with that new Titans book when it happens. But basically, what it is you open it up, and Wolfman is basically like, "Hey, you remember all this new 52 stuff that happened with Raven? Well, it's stupid and fuck it, and we're starting from scratch,
Oh, okay then.
and we're doing it my way." Raven, who is spurned on by the death of Tim Drake, so they mentioned the death of Tim Drake in the opening.
Oh wow,
And she
okay.
says, "Oh, after Tim Drake died, it got me thinking a lot about family and connections and all the stuff I never had. And hey, everyone knows my mother, the crazy devil worshiper who got, sexed up by Trigon, and that's why I'm here. Yeah, it turns out she had a sister we never talked about, so I'm going to go and try and live with my sister's family now. And they're like, the most wholesome middle America Bible thumping family, say their prayers. And Raven rolls in as this uber awesome goth girl, and she's like, I have made a huge mistake."
That actually sounds pretty cool.
It is. I liked it. Again, if you've actually been following Teen Titans and actually cared about the version of Raven that was put forward in that book, you're not going to like this because it basically throws away all of it in favor of just telling a kind of wacky teenage story, and I like it. Raven goes to school, and you think like, and here comes the point where all the kids are gonna, make fun of her and be like, "Oh, you're weird and different. We don't like you." They go the other way completely with it. They look at Raven and like, "Wow, you're awesome."
I guess that, yeah, because like modern times and everything, her sort of like emo thing is kind of in, and
Exactly. That's it. She becomes the coolest kid in minutes, and I'm like, yes, that is how it would work today.
that's awesome.
Shocking, too, to think that the man writing this is like almost in his 70s, the guy writing this book about hip teenagers and how he just gets it.
Then Marv Wolfman's got his finger on the pulse of the kids these
all,
days.
all these years later, Wolfman still gets kids better than most adults do. It's shocking. I imagine, what does he do for research? Is he just sitting there watching the MTV, being like, yes, kids today.
Th-
Yes.
maybe he has kids of his own and he asks them.
I would, maybe. Yeah,
He's
probably.
like, what do you whippersnappers love these days?
If I ever meet Wolfman, and God willing I will one day before he passes away, I'd like to ask him that. I'm like, you wrote teenagers so well. How did you do that? Did you just think of yourself at their age? Did you like actually ask and do some research? That's a damn good question.
to ask him on Twitter. I know he's on Twitter, and I think he has quite a bit of interaction with the fans and everything.
Yeah, I might just do that. Speaking of Twitter and fan interaction, I guess I can talk about this here and now then. Matt and I had been joking before about getting Axel Braun on because we like his costume so much to talk up stuff. Well, I went to his website, got his email, wrote him, and yes, he wants to be on the show, actually.
That's so awesome.
That is awesome. Here's the thing. I wrote him he couldn't do it because he's going away for the next 2 weeks, no doubt working on movies and everything that he's got to do. I don't know if you've checked the man's IMDb page. He makes a lot of goddamn movies.
Yeah, he's in those 2 weeks. He's going to make like 10 movies or something.
The man is a machine when it comes to this, and like he writes and he does like the graphic design for the DVD boxes, I found out.
Oh, nice.
The man is like a one-man porn empire unto himself. So he's going to be busy for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to New York Comic Con. I'm hoping I can grab him at some point in that time before I have to go away. And what I'm going to do is Matt and I will do half a show, and instead of talking about what we read this week, I will sub the Axel Braun interview in there.
That's awesome.
Is what I'm going to do. So, yeah, don't be shocked if in the next little bit you get an interview piece with him. Apparently, no other comic book show has ever thought to interview him. I went looking online and I'm like, well, has he done any other podcasts? Has he done any other comic book show? No.
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking at that up in a minute, and it's actually really interesting considering that he's kind of in that whole pop culture thing.
I'm amazed no one thought to do this. And then I
Yeah,
felt
and I imagine he is a fan because he wouldn't, or like, yeah.
You want to know how much a fan he is, Matt? Because I knew he was going to be on the show, I went back and watched like his last 3 or 4 movies to try and, like get some good questions to ask him. Here's the thing I didn't know about his movies. His Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and all these other XX parodies that he does, they all have shared continuity.
Really?
Yes, they do.
Are you kidding me?
I am not fucking around. Lex Luthor is president in his DC cinematic
Holy
porn
shit,
universe.
are you fucking kidding me?
Yes, and that carries over into each and every one. Yeah.
So he's got a better, more comic like influence continuity than the actual
Yes.
movies have. Holy shit!
Yes, he does. Lois Lane shows up in the Wonder Woman porn parody, trying to like find people who know Diana so she can get some info. She interviews the cheetah, and they fuck, of course, because I mean, hey, it's still a porn movie. But the fact where it's like, yeah, these two characters together bouncing off each other, that's really smart. I also really like the woman he has playing Supergirl in the movie. She actually looks a lot like the character from The Page. It's shocking. His Luthor's not bad either. The Enchantress shows up in, in the Supergirl movie, working for Lex Luthor, and then shows up again in the Suicide Squad movie. Same with Killer Frost.
Wow.
It's smart too, because it's like, yeah, he would have all these costumes sitting around and he would have all these actors on retainer. So yeah, he just has them keep coming back over and over again, playing the same parts and actually building a universe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the porn cinematic universe. Can you believe that? He's such a nerd, he actually sat down and wrote out an entire cohesive universe.
That's impressive.
Dude, Brainiac shows up in like in
Jesus
the Supergirl
Christ.
one. That's the first fight. And here's the thing: it's literally scene for scene the fight they have in like that Jeff Johns Supergirl Superman series.
Are you serious?
It's literally that. They talk about Argos, they talk about the bottle city of Kandor and how Brainiac was the one who did that. And the Brainiac costume is really good too. It's just the one from that Superman animated movie, which is just like the one from the comics.
Oh, I'm gonna look up the animated Brainiac now, and that's just insane to think.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
And then, of course, they bone, because always, but it's funny the way they get there. Where it's like, Brainiac, you're from the planet Kalu. Yeah, they mentioned the planet Brainiac is from in the porn movie. No live-action movie would dare even say that, but in the porn movie, it's like, yes, Brainiac, the evil alien sentient AI from planet Kalu. He used to be a human, or something close to it, but now he's a terrible machine creature who captures things for himself. And then sex happens, because of course it does. But it's just so funny to be like, hey, nerd stuff, sex, nerd stuff, sex.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. I have so many questions to ask this man when he comes here. Be like, so you're just doing this for yourself, huh? It's like, people don't pay attention to the story anyway in these movies, so I'll just write whatever the hell I want. Just write whatever I want. It'll be great.
Well, I suppose like he thinks like, oh well, the people that actually like this Superman stuff are gonna watch these movies, so I better put, and I know like how the fans can get, so I better put a little bit of actual stuff from the comics in it, and maybe he did that like as a thing first, and just to see how it works, and then he thought, nah, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, the newest one he's working on right now is actually Empire Strikes Back XXX.
Oh wow, I'm surprised that hasn't been made yet.
I know, right? Matt's like, well, I gotta check that out now and check it for accuracy. Matt's gonna come back next week and be like, yeah, there was all these great references and shout outs and stuff that was in deleted scenes that he put back in. It was great. On that note, do you have any more comics to talk about, or can we close this one out?
I think we can close this one out.
I mean, we're not gonna do any much better than that, are we? I guess on that note, everybody, thank you so much for watching and listening. As always, it's a pleasure. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, do all that other social media jazz. Check out Matt over on Fortress of Solitude. Check out the Kate Joel Facebook page. I think Matt has one too, I'm pretty sure. Just check us out on all the social medias if you would. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say. Matt, you got anything to say to close out?
You pretty much said everything I was going to say.
Yeah, follow us there. Thank you for listening. As always, if you are a patron, you will be getting this show first before anyone else. I will be putting it up as soon as I'm done rendering it. That's on Sunday. For everyone else, you'll be listening to this one on Wednesday. And yeah, then that'll be the day that it is, which is that day. If you can't tell, I'm getting a little frickin' delirious here as I sit and talk, and I'm running out of words. And God, I need to end this show before it gets away from me. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye. We'll see you next week.
See ya.